you need a security networking here. This is a short audio briefing that will help you figure out your new workplace. Let's get started. There is a monitor in front of you. On it, you can monitor CCTV cameras. All cameras are located on 3 tiers. You can change tier using the buttons in the lower left corner of the screen. Your task is to monitor potential offenses on the territory of our establishment. Since you work in the night shift, this could be only legal entry. However, here you have a little to worry about. It is unlikely that anyone will dare to attack the property of Barricade Incorporated, especially under current conditions. Even if such an attack occurs, you can always barricade yourself in your office if the intruder threatens you with a weapon. To close the doors, use the panels on your table. Don't worry, the doors are bulletproof. However, such a turn of events is unlikely. If something happens, you can use the alarm by turning it on using the corresponding button on the monitor. However, under current circumstances, the police are unlikely to be able to arrive in time, so be careful. And one more small detail. Your office is in the farthest corner of the restaurant, so it can be chilly in here. In this case, you can turn on the heating system next to the ventilation behind your back. And that seems to be all. I wish you a peaceful shift and good night. second night shift. It seems like yesterday you were excited about something after finishing work. However, you did not answer the questions. This is not very good, as you can always report your problems to your superior, and we will take all measures to eliminate the causes of your worries. And also, yesterday I forgot to clarify about the energy that is allocated for our establishment. As you know, the situation now is not the most cheerful, and we have to use electricity wisely, allocating a small amount of it to areas of the city. You can consider us generally lucky that we received certain limits for nighttime. They might not exist at all. Therefore, so that building does not lose power at all, try to keep within them. We installed a meter that will help you determine how much energy you still have left, and also regarding the two non-working cameras that you mentioned. The person who is installing them is currently away and is not going to return in the next 3 days. However, upon his return he will immediately begin to repair them. And one more small detail regarding our animatronics. They cannot tolerate high temperatures. They begin to suffer heat and bleach. In general, as usual, have a good shift and good night. Yesterday you informed us about a problem with moving animatronics. Honestly, this shouldn't happen at all. However, there are a couple of nuances here. The fact is, these are not exactly entertaining robots. They were made on a basis of machines that were completely opposite in scope. And actually I don't even understand what kind of genius came up with the idea of using combat robots in a restaurant. Especially since the authorities cannot but know about it. On the other hand, such behavior of robots may cause unwanted attention from us and, accordingly, consequences. In my opinion, if we were to report this, we should have done it not to our superiors, but directly to the relevant authorities, and to let them do it already, especially since we know about the origins of these robots. We may have certain problems. In general, think about what I told you and make the right conclusions and choices. And so, have a good shift and a good night. to your next night shift. I'm really interested in a couple of details. Why didn't you report what was happening here to certain authorities, especially since it would have aroused interest in there? By the way, I got a couple of interesting details. As it turns out, one of our robots has a freaking flamethrower built into it. And again, considering that we are just a restaurant. And again, this lone genius, due to the fact that the endoskeleton structure inside the suit takes up too much place, decided to remove the protective coating from the batteries of these robots. Without going into details, this is absolutely not worth doing this under any circumstances. These batteries are not radioactive, but they do emit some centering waves that can cause several hallucinations in some people. This can really cause serious problems for us. I say this for a reason, because I hope that you will make the right decision as soon as this night is over. And it's better for you to do it, believe me. Well, I wish you good luck. seat, 5 shift. It's our opening day and, to be honest, I'm really hesitant to work with an idiot like you. Tell me honestly, is a job with such a miserable salary so important to you? Moreover, I have repeatedly hinted to you that it is worth reporting or necessary about what is happening here. Believe me, I have no right to express all this, but it would be better so much to attract unwanted attention to yourself as soon as possible. However, because of an idiot like you, this does not happen. As I say, you can go another way. In the end, we have every reason to believe that the corpse of the security guard in the workplace will definitely cause a corresponding resonance. After all, you were warned. Note that the right actions on your part could help avoid this necessary convention.